everyone. Good night, Eli. Good night, Michael. Welcome to our Longetalks channel. Today we are going to interview Michael Clinton, author of the book Roar, who received the Silver Axiom Business Book Award in the Carreira category. So congratulations.
Hi, Michael. We are happy that you accepted our invite. I'm very, very happy. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm coming to you from New York City. I spend my time in New York and in Santa Fe, New Mexico. And I've had a 40-year career in the magazine industry. So I published many, many well-known magazines from Vogue to Vanity Fair, GQ, Harper's Bazaar, Elle, and many names that you know. And I was the president and publishing director of Hearst Magazines, and also was the chairman of the Magazine Publishers of America. And I decided after a very wonderful and successful career that I was ready to have some new chapters, and I wanted to do more things, not less things. As I was moving into my next chapter, there's an expression that we call wind up, not wind down. And so it led me to writing this book, Roar. Our message for Roar has become very, very relevant to the 50 plus consumer.
So I would like you to talk a little about why this movement in the second half of your career has increased.
Yeah. I think one thing that is happening is, as you know, people, the whole planet is living longer. And aside from the pandemic, where life expectancies have come down a little in America, that will reset. And the people in many countries, I'm sure Brazil as well, but certainly in America and Japan and Italy and Spain, etc., people are living longer than they've ever lived. And so as a result, when you're 50, if you are healthy, you're probably going to live another 40 years if you take care of yourself. And a lot of people in the past generation would say, well, I'm 60, I'm not going to live much longer. I will retire. I will enjoy myself. But now people at 60 are saying, I can have a second career that will last for 20 years if I choose that. That Stanford University just put out a very interesting new paper that talks about the 100-year life and how that will become more and more normalized in the next decades. Young children today, if they have good prenatal care and child development, 50% of them have the opportunity to live to be 100. So it's going to be a very different kind of second half life. And as I was studying this, I wanted to put more of a focus and spotlight as to what is possible.
Oh, thanks. And it's very important to a lifelong learning.
It's very important because our brain is also connected to our physical well-being, and our brain is also connected to our socializing with other people, which is important, as you know. I'm a great example. At the age of 65, I went back to Columbia University and got a master's degree. So I was a student at 65. It was very interesting. So keeping yourself engaged in lifelong learning is a philosophy that keeps people strong and healthy and happy. So yeah.
Yes, it's important to listen because the world has changed. New reality, right? I believe that it's important for young and older people.
A great point. In the book, Roar, I found 40 people who I interviewed who all have made very interesting decisions at midlife, at 50 or older. One woman who I love talking to, she was 53. She had an undergraduate degree in English. She was a writer and an editor. And at 53, she decided to become a medical doctor.
Wow.
And you know how complex that is, even for a 23-year-old. So she is 63 today, and she's a doctor. And she said, I can be a doctor for 20 years and make a very big contribution. So, sometimes at 60 or 50 or 60, if you want to, you can have a completely new career.
What do you suggest for people over 60 who want to reinvent themselves in the second phase of their professional life in developing countries like Brazil?
We're beginning to see in certain places, certainly in America, maybe some companies in Brazil, is that they're beginning to recognize that people who are 60 bring an enormous amount of experience, wisdom, skill, mentoring. In America, for the first time ever, we will have 5 generations in the workplace at the same time. The next generation, there aren't enough people to fill the job. So many companies are saying, we want you to work longer. Many people over 60 are saying, that's great. I don't necessarily want to do the same kind of work, but let's talk about being creative. How might I work 4 days a week or 3 days a week, or move out of my regular job and be based on projects and growth projects? I think there are ways to access older employees without them necessarily doing the same job, and giving them more flexibility in how they might do new things. And I think you will see that trend happen more and more in countries, developing countries and developed countries as well. I think it will be a global trend we will see.
I agree. I totally agree. And do you believe that government help can make the difference?
Yeah, we don't really see it here yet in a big way either. We have a lot of ageism here in America in our words and images and entertainment and business and government. And I think first of all, I think the people are going to lead this movement, because the people are going to be the ones to say to their companies and to government, we want a different kind of model. Many American companies are now including age as part of their diversity, equity, inclusiveness policy. And in the past, that was really not the case, because age affects everyone, regardless of gender, race, religion. It affects everyone. Progressive companies are saying, age is an important diversity issue. Progressive companies are saying, how do we promote and keep people who are over 60 in place? Before I left my day-to-day job, I promoted a 70-year-old woman who was fantastic, as an amazing professional. And when I promoted her, I said, Carol, I hope you will work as long as you want, but I think it takes progressive management, progressive companies to really think this way.
So about Roar right now, in your book, what would you highlight as important for making and practical actions for the second phase of professional life? And which one do you consider the most important and why?
So Roar is a 4-step process as to how you can have a more dynamic, exciting second half. So each letter stands for a concept. So the R, the O, the A, and the R. The R is the reimagining process and how you do it and how you integrate it into your life. The O is owning where you are at the moment in all aspects of your life, your health, your finances, your age, etc. The A is the action plan, and the R is the reassessing of your relationships, not just with yourself, but with everyone around you. My favorite, I have to say, is the A, because the action plan is what matters, because we can all talk about it, think about it, but you have to do it. We have a concept called life layering, which allows you to build layers to your persona. We all have different personas. We are a parent, we're a partner with someone, we are a parent, and maybe we're an employee. Those personas are part of everyday life. But what are the personas that are just for you? just about you, the individual. How do you build out your other identities? Because sometimes, hopefully you'll have a long relationship, but that may also change. And then you're by yourself and you have to figure out, who am I? Your children are going to grow up, and while they'll always be your children, they're not taking as much time in your life. So your role as parent will change. And when you're in midlife, you may leave your employer. And so who are you? And so the question is, you're not what you do, you are who you are, but who are you? So the life layering helps you build that. And I think that's important for midlife.
Thank you so much for taking a time for us and to speak here on the channel to our viewers. I like to know different books and different people that talk about longevity. It's essential. We used to speak that we can consider the longevity as the new language to be learned. So thank you.
It's a pleasure to find people like you who dedicated their time to the projects, like Longetalks. Thank you very much.
It's an important topic. We have a monthly newsletter now for Roar. People can go to roarbymichaelclinton.com to sign up for the newsletter. There are lots of interesting information. It's free. I have a column in Men's Health magazine, and I'm also writing for Esquire now on longevity. And so I think it's important to have many voices in the culture. If it's you're having that voice in Brazil, I'm having that voice in the US, many other people. The more voices we have, the better, to shine a positive view on the notion of longevity. So thank you so much for having me be a part of your program.